I thank you guys for joining my video once again. I need to show you how to leadership in this video. I promise you that I'm just a baby. I promise you that you never judge me for how I am. I promise you that many people never even watch this video. I never care about them. I need you to understand that what I care about is forgiveness and Jesus Christ and making sure that you're free and prosperous and abundant and rich. Is it something that you need? I promise you that no matter what in life, you need to be a person who can do we and I. You understand? You have to be able to lead people and lead yourself. You have to realize that in order to lead others, you need to lead yourself the most. I promise you that I is more important than we. You understand? I promise you that I is more than anything else. I promise you that those people who have leadership skills are the ones always growing. I mean, they have skills to grow. They are prosperous, and when they get hungry for food, they never just go for the fridge. They go and create a 1 hour video instead. You understand? When you're a person who's leadership and who's leading yourself in life, and you have two schedules, you have to understand that you have to choose between them. You have the 1 hour rule, which says 23 hours of the day, you'll be indoors. You understand? Inside of your accommodation. And 1 hour, you'll just go and get food and come back into your accommodation. I promise you that the other rule is 6 p.m. rule, which states from 10 o'clock in the morning to 6 p.m., you'll be able to go out and about and do whatever you need to do in the city to see it and to take photos of it and to go brand yourself and whatever. And you must be in your accommodation before 6 p.m. If you're a person who never has that schedule, I promise you that you probably are someone who's very much lacking in life. You have to understand that many people are different though. You need to be able to see that that's my schedule. I can also make it your schedule when you accept it. I need you also to realize that you go and make your own schedule. You have to realize that in order for me to be able to lead, I promise you that no matter what, sometimes I sleep in. I sleep in sometimes, and it's really because I have to get my sleep. I realize that I can wake up at any time. I realize that many people say you must wake up at this time because other people are doing it. I never care about that. I realize that Jesus was someone who was always waking up at any time. You understand? You have to understand that those people who invite you to go somewhere, you have to understand that you go. Although will say that when you're free to talk and you have freedom of speech, I never need you to be belittled by other people. You understand? I never need you to be around people who say to you, shut up. I never need you to be around those people. I recently had a group called whatever. They are people who I'll never even promote anymore. You understand? I also realize I've got nothing against them. I just realized that it's more important to even show yourself in the camera. You have to understand that it's more that you realize that those people really said that I have to shut up in the group. I realize that you never have to shut up in the group. You understand? Because when you are told to shut up, I never appreciate that. Do you appreciate being told to shut up in your daily life? I'd rather go somewhere else, you understand? I never care about the free attention. I could have had a Brisbane group and a Sydney group and whatever they have in terms of attention. Probably have 5,000 people and more over there. I never care. I just go my way because I never appreciate being told what to do. You understand? I said nothing wrong. I said nothing right. I just was there to welcome people, and I was told to shut up about that. I was told to shut up for being in Jesus' life. I don't care about them. I've moved on. You have to understand, you have to move on from these people who are hating you and who are miserable in life. I never care that there are 20 of them and one of you. You have to understand that Jesus was alone in life. You have to understand that Jesus, no matter how many people hated Jesus, I promise you that Jesus only went where he needed to go because he needed to do a certain job. And I promise you that Jesus, even though he was hated by most people, would only go to a certain place because he had to do a specific job. I promise you that you also need to be like that. You need to be a person who goes to a different place when you are being bothered elsewhere. I mean, in the first place, you never get bothered. You just realize that you outgrow people. You just outgrow people because you see that you're just much better than them in every area of life. I mean, when you're growing as a millennial or anyone in life, you never get told what to do and you never get told to shut up. You have to understand that the we in leadership means that you need to be a person who's corresponding with the group, and you have to realize that when you're spoken to, that you let everybody in the group speak their thoughts. You have to understand that there is no orderly fashion in life. I promise you that no matter what, that when it's a growth comment, you let it be. I promise you that when it's something that's negative, you can remove that person. I said nothing negative. I promise you that no matter what, many people find me negative. I'm not negative. I'm growing, I'm loving myself, and I'm doing more individual work than they are. You understand? I'm doing more work on myself than they are on themselves. I mean, I'm doing more work than 5,000 people or more in that crowd that I just left. I could have got free attention. I just never realized that I never need to go there. I just see that. I see that I realize even more than that. I deserve better. I deserve to be respected. I deserve to show myself somewhere where I feel that nobody is shutting me up. I deserve to speak my heart out. I never love being told what to do. I promise you, when you're moving on though, you have to realize that you find something to talk about in your videos and your daily life. If you're a person who's looking for a man or woman, you have to understand that the leadership ability there is do you more than them. I promise you that Jesus was never the one to chase people and to chase women and chase sex. You have to understand that daily life, you have to understand in daily life, many people are going to issue you with criticism and negativity and anger and resentment and violence because you're just more successful. I promise you that you turn the other cheek too. I mean, when they hit you, you turn the other cheek too. I was a person who was very miserable at one time. I was going home, in terms of I was going to my accommodation, and one woman slapped me in the face so hard that I got off the bike and I kneed her in the gut. I then had 20 fobs and Samoans and Islanders run at me, who are also Aboriginals. I mean, black people. I mean, they ran at me because I kneed her. I realized no matter what, the police got in really fast, whereas the police were just around the corner. I never even hit a person. I never hit a woman before that in my life. You have to understand that I have a criminal record now saying that I hit a woman. You have to understand that I was on my bike going home and I hit her. I reacted. I never deserved it. I was having a hard day as it was. I never deserved to get hit. I realized no matter what, I was taken to jail. I was in jail for 12 hours. I was released. I was said to go to court on this day so I can walk free and never go to prison again. I went to that. I appealed. I won the court case to walk free for myself. I realized the guy said you can come back on day 2 and you can file her to go into prison. I realized that it's 8 weeks in the process. I realized that I said no. I realized I'll just move on. I realized no matter what, I pinned myself down and I remain as a woman basher now because I never went the extra 8 weeks to get her into jail because she's the one that started it. I promise you then my name would have been robbed off the list as a woman basher. I mean, there would be no history of saying that I hit a woman. I never care about that. I promise you that I never get hit ever again. I promise you that this time when a woman hits me, I'll just walk away. I promise you that is my learning lesson. I hope that you understand that when you hear Jesus say, turn the other cheek, I mean, when a woman hits you or a man hits you for no reason, you just go, you just walk away. I mean, you never fight back. You understand? You never fight back anybody. You have to understand that fighting people back is never going to solve anything. I promise you that back talk is also never going to do anything. I promise you that my biological mother was always a woman who said, never backtalk at me. I never knew what she was saying about that. I realized that backtalk is when you're really, really saying something to fight her and what she says. I realized that no matter what, you can do it only when you're never negative. You understand? You can backtalk people only in a positive manner. I mean, you have to understand that the truth is never in other people. You have to understand that the truth is in Jesus Christ. You have to understand that those people who totally mispronounce you are never looking at Jesus Christ and what Jesus is doing. I promise you, I was the leader by this group. I promise you, I have a better Instagram. I have better leadership skills. I have better looks. You have to understand that these people were never even looking at Jesus when they deleted me. I never care. I realized that I look at Jesus and I have Jesus in my heart, and I'll point you to Jesus so that you can go find everything that you need. I promise you, you don't even have to believe me. I promise you that you never believe anybody in this world. You're going to believe Jesus more. I will say though, that in order to lead, you have to grow. I have the leadership skills to grow. And I promise you that the leadership skills that I have is everything to do with how I write. I mean, I write daily in my journal and I plan everything ahead of time. I mean, I may be in my house in terms of my accommodation for 23 hours of the day. I'm always inside my body though. When I talk about accommodation, I'm talking about where I'm living outside of the body. I mean, I'm never living outside of the body. I'm only living inside. You have to understand that I only look to Jesus for all of this. I only look to plan my life according to how Jesus is living today. I promise you, I've taken more action than ever in my life, especially, and I see a massive difference between how I live and how other people live in terms of Jesus Christ. I promise you that many people see my Instagram and never follow me because they're unaware. You have to understand they're unaware of Jesus. I mean, I'm not Jesus. I live like Jesus. I promise you, when you look at when you look at people equally and somebody's Instagram, you find everybody as an equal person. I mean, everybody is equal. You just have to understand that you move on from those people who judge you and criticize you and who delete you and block you because you said you have something more important to do than go to their free event. I understand what's going on. I realize that no matter what, I move on anyway. You have to understand that people are always going to judge you and criticize you and be negative and hate you. I promise you, nobody loves you in life except for Jesus. I used to get so jealous about other people and who they're with, and all these women who are beautiful are going with other men. I realized that those beautiful women never were with Jesus. I mean, I've got nothing to be afraid of. I've got nothing to be ashamed of for the amount of sex I've had in my life, because I see Jesus. I see Jesus never had sex. I may have had 20 occasions where I had sex. I mean, Jesus never had sex. I mean, other people may have had 500 times and more. I mean, I've got no shame. You understand? I realize it's more in the content and what you're doing in daily life to be able to prosper and grow. I realize that I've got no friends in life except for Jesus. I've got no family in life except for Jesus. I've got nothing in this life except Jesus. I mean, the best leadership skills that you can ever have in life is just go directly to Jesus and you'll find what you're looking for. I promise you that you have to write something down. I promise you that you have to teach about Jesus. I promise you have to teach about Jesus in your journal and in a podcast, and you have to make something around Jesus in terms of a business so that you can really learn and study how to live life much better. I promise you that's the definition of a life coach. I promise you that's the definition of any job in the world that must be doing Jesus. You understand? I promise you that every single company in the world and person in the world must make Jesus their business. I promise you that is how the leadership. You have to understand that those people with leadership are people who can let go. I mean, they got emotion. I mean, they're never doing drugs. They're never doing anything to harm themselves. I mean, I looked at this nice situation where I never went to a free invite, where I had a free invitation with attention, with people who can give me attention and boost my career. I said no though. I said no because I was belittled. I felt small in that crowd. I mean, they look at me like some average person. I never care about that. I need you guys to step up. I need you guys to really look that I was really lifting you people, and I was never really putting you down for anything. I never deserved to be conditioned or said and spoken to about what to do. I promise you that no matter what, I respect people who give me knowledge and lift me up. I just realized that cutting my communication from the group really makes me feel like I'm nobody. I never need to be there. I never need to be where others make me a nobody. You understand? I just feel that Jesus would do the same thing. I also see that Jesus would honestly be able to go. I promise you that Jesus would go and lift the crowd up. I promise you that I feel that no matter what, I need to do what Jesus does. You have to understand that it's more in how I see life. I promise you that Jesus would say, you can go there. I promise you that you found yourself a new path anyway. I promise you that Jesus also would admit that he would also do the same as me. I promise you that Jesus would be able to go and lift the crowd up even though they hated him. I promise you that Jesus also can go a new way. I promise you that Jesus also can say that he will do the same thing as me. You have to understand that no matter what, that those people who have an opportunity to go for free and you'll never be belittled like I was, you can go and really, really study yourself in a better way. You can promote people, you never have to. You just realize that no matter what, you never promote people who belittle you. You understand? You go and realize that the leadership technique that you have to realize that the leadership technique that you need is something that's really going to help you boost your mentality in self-education. You have to realize that only Jesus can do that and nobody else. I mean, you'll have knowledge in the world. I mean, the more knowledge that you study in books today and you go invest money into books, I promise you, it's always going to come out across in Jesus' name. I promise you, someone out there is going to write more and more for you in terms of for Jesus Christ only. And you'll be able to read and study more about life and daily life and become a life coach. And you'll eventually realize leadership skills in Jesus Christ. I promise you, those people who are living life are really planning life and really, really giving you all the I really believe that no matter what, that they are all giving you the fundamental skills you need to grow when they are leadership people who are really positive and growing. I realize that no matter what, that is never an opinion. I realize that it's really, really something that I dwell in. I experience it in daily life. I realize that those people who can see what I said, I really said that you must grow in a leadership term where you must be lifting people in a positive way and growing them instead of dissing them and blocking them and making them feel like they're smaller people. I promise you that you never be around those people. I never care how much attention they have. I promise you that when there's one person in the crowd who says, I need this guy away from us, and the whole group votes for you to shut up in the group, I never need you to be in that group in the first place. You understand? Because whoever said for me to shut up in that group meant that you're no longer welcome. You have to understand that is the way I see life. You have to understand that you either can speak up or you can never speak up. I mean, when a person says shut up, you shut up forever with them and you go somewhere else and you speak up. I mean, you no longer continue the relationship and friendship that you have with the person. You never shut up. You understand? You never shut up for someone else. You never need to, and you never shut up and then belittle yourself so you can go and get some attention. You never do that either. I promise you that it's more healthy for you to realize that you can only ever do you in Jesus Christ, and you can only ever lift yourself in Jesus' thy name. It's more important to teach yourself life skills around the world and how you can really benefit yourself through knowledge and wisdom and through confidence. You can realize that that is really going to make you positive and abundant. You can see that those people who have feelings and more emotional abilities and who are more emotionally stable in terms of emotional abilities can really connect the dots and can lead you far greater than those people who can never get on video and on podcasts, and those people who never have a journal either. You have to understand that those people who have a journal and are doing self-education and are calling themselves entrepreneurs and are living it every single day in terms of being more inspiring, I promise you those people are going to lift eventually, and in 10 years' time, they're going to be far more ahead of you. I mean, you have to understand that I have 28 years of age. I'm 28 in life. I'm very young. I'm only 1 year young. I'm only number one in life. I realize that no matter what, that in the next 10 years, I have so many opportunities. I mean, I let this one pass. I never care about them. I never let it pass. I just moved on. I realized that it's more about you having the mentality to make sure that you stay away from what's bad for you. You have to understand that in my journal, I speak about what you never do. I mean, when I write escorts and brothels and masturbation and pornography and women and men and anything other than Jesus, you have to understand that you're going to stay away from all of that. You understand? I wrote over 50,000 of them. I wrote over 100,000 points of where you must stay away from in life. I mean, you can go and listen to me. I promise you that you will be on a better path. I promise you that no amount of knowledge in this life can never make you needy. I promise you that no amount of knowledge in this life can never make you evil. I promise you that you go and absorb more and more information from everybody. I don't care who it is. I promise you that little baby can teach you everything. I promise you anybody in this life who's got something to say can teach you. I'll just go to the ones who are speaking up more. I promise you that the ones who are speaking up more are more successful than the rest of the crowd. I promise you I have many opportunities to go everywhere in my life and do what I need to do. I realize that the world is very angry. I mean, they're very angry and negative. I realize no matter what, I stay away from them. I realize that Drake, the singer, I realized he got on the stage and people are chucking stuff at him while he's on the stage. I promise you, he asked the question, do you guys need me to continue singing for you? I hear a boo. I realized the guy just walked off the stage. You understand? I mean, I'll do the same thing. I never sing for a crowd that disses me and who is negative on me. I never go that way. You understand? I respect him for even doing that because he showed me something in leadership. I promise you, no matter what, I respect Drake because he's a rapper in terms of life. I love rappers. And you have to understand that in order for you to turn away from a crowd who boos you is the biggest honor you can ever do. I promise you, no matter what, that Jesus would have done the same thing. You have to understand that you need to be a person who sees more in Jesus Christ than anybody else. You need to use examples of daily life in order to relate everything to Jesus Christ. You have to understand that life is more about Jesus Christ. I promise you that life is more about Jesus Christ than anything else. You need to be a person who's really studying the empathy of life and compassion and how to be kind and how to gain courage and confidence and also Jesus in your life. You need to understand that it's more about freedom than money in terms of possessions. I mean, money is really Jesus. You have to understand when you hit the jackpot, hit Jesus. You understand? I mean, you go right to Jesus and you'll always have the jackpot. I mean, most people are gambling anything but Jesus. Most people are gambling on anything but Jesus. I mean, never gamble on anything except Jesus. I mean, go and put all your poker chips and your money and possessions in Jesus. You understand? I promise you that you'll realize something. I promise you that Jesus will say, I never need your possessions. I will thank you for investing everything in me. You understand? I mean, you'll never go wrong. I mean, you'll never go right. I mean, you'll go the best way. I need you to understand that in life, when you're communicating with people, you communicate to them in what's best for Jesus. You understand that no matter what happens, you never go chasing people, although you can go have a nice, beautiful conversation with them and lift and be uplifting in front of people. I mean, you can always do that. I promise you, when you're uplifting people, you're just teaching them along the way everything. I promise you that the more you teach even women and men, I promise you that you're going to have women and men chasing you. I promise you that no matter what, that all I ever do in my Instagram is just teach how to model. I teach people quotes. I teach people something. I promise you, I get 34 followers. I get 34 followers. I realize no matter what, that those people never even know what I teach. I mean, they never even look at me. Although I did check my Instagram, I checked it and it said that I had some following coming in terms of I have around 18 people every single day checking out my photos. I also have about 421 impressions every single week in terms of that people are aware of me on Instagram. I also would love for you to understand that no matter what, that consistency is key on social media and in life. I mean, without consistency, which is your ability to keep it going. You understand? You post 6 times a day, you keep it going forever. You do something a certain way, you keep it going forever. I mean, as long as it's something that's related to Jesus. I promise you, no matter what, that most people are never even looking at Jesus and are off track. I promise you that those people who are disciplining themselves and loving life and really letting the words flow and the words are coming out of them in a simple manner, and you're never complicating anything. And you can even compliment life. I promise you that no matter what, it's always uplifting to say you're handsome and you're very beautiful and where did you get your set of hair? You understand? You have to understand that you just be interested in people and you never go for the sex. I promise you that no matter what, that is the best leadership term that you can ever get. You can go and speak to anybody and any woman in a leadership setting and you will always be Jesus in that way. I promise you that when you truly care, you're a person who's just lifting and inspiring and doing videos such as this, who's just teaching people something. I mean, you go and do something that's teaching about Jesus, which is the best idea in the world. I promise you there's nothing greater than going and living your passion and your dream, and I'm still living my dream because I live Jesus. I live and breathe Jesus. You have to understand that those people who see my Instagram and I said that I do work for God for free and they block me, I mean, they're against God too. You understand? I mean, I never even have to go there anymore. I mean, when you go and block someone who's very inspirational, such as I am, and who's really doing more work than you behind the scenes, you have to ask yourself questions about what you've done. You have to really ask yourself questions that when I turn away from you, what did you really do that made me turn away from you? I promise you that I'm much smarter than how I look. You understand? I'm much more smarter, I'm much more capable, I'm much more in everything in terms of Jesus. You have to understand that it's more about lifting the crowd and never let the crowd lift you. You understand? I mean, let the crowd come to you while you're just handing them out presents and wisdom and knowledge of God. You understand? You have to understand that I'm 28. I have the next 50 years and 73 years to continue my life. I have around 240 videos online. I don't know. I realize no matter what, I have over 200 videos. I have 171. I have 171 courses. I also have another 72. I realize no matter what, that it's more about the potential of yourself to realize that you can prosper and you can become abundant when you're really lifting yourself and others to greater success, when you're really, really empathetic towards yourself and others. You have to understand that it's really loving yourself that matters. You have to understand it's really dwarfing in the potential of who you are. I mean, when you're in a video, you use grid lines so you can be in the middle of the video. I mean, without the grid lines, you're blind. You understand? I mean, you're blind to what's the center of the video. I mean, when you're doing photo shoots and you're branding yourself as a model and you need to take photos of yourself, I mean, get yourself a real camera in terms of a phone only. I mean, you only need a phone. I have a Samsung A51 Galaxy, which has 32 megapixel camera as a selfie. I mean, the selfie front one over here that you see me on is 32 megapixels. I mean, this one over here is 12 megapixels. You have to understand that this one here is a Samsung A20 Galaxy, and I got myself an upgrade to the Samsung A51 Galaxy. You have to understand that I gave an extra $360 for an upgrade. You understand? So you have to understand. So it's more about in order for you to really produce quality work, you have to understand that with my beautiful phone over here, I have 120 gigabytes of storage inside my phone that comes along with it, while this one over here has, in my Samsung A20 Galaxy, has only 30. I realized that I can put some SD cards over here. I can realize I can move stuff around. I realize it's more about me doing these videos in a nice, beautiful quality, and also being able to shoot those photos that I need so that I can look good, and so I never have to worry about my images coming off crap. I mean, I only get better phones for communication, for content, and for social media, so that I can do something. I mean, I only do it so I can have the web browser, so I can have communication, and so that I can do content and my finance. I plan everything in my phone. I plan everything in my journal. I make sure that no matter what, that in order to teach leadership, you have to teach people about your life and how you really live it. I promise you, that's all the leadership skills that you need to teach. In my daily life, I really use tactics in terms of, I see people, I see when they're negative on me, I just go away. I go somewhere else. I stay away from them. I realize that when I get negative, I start to be in a forgiveness mode. I start to embrace Jesus. I start to see what Jesus needs. I go into my journal. I start to write, what am I negative about? I start to really delve into it. I see what I get negative about. I solve the problem. I realize I'll never be negative like that again. I realize when I get sad about a woman, I realize I look at Jesus and I see that Jesus never had a woman. I realize that when I get sad about sex, I see Jesus never had sex. You ladies can also do this. I realize that when I have to sleep, I go sleep. I sleep enough. I mean, I sleep enough in my life. I realize that even 12 hours can be enough. I realize that sometimes 2 hours in terms of naps can be enough. I realize that Brian Tracy taught me that. You can go check Brian Tracy out. I realize that when I have to eat, I realize that I get something one step at a time. I go one day at a time to the local supermarket, and I make sure that my local supermarket, in terms of what I need, is very close. I mean, I go to the biggest cities in the world, such as Brisbane in Australia. I have a nice, beautiful hostel here for $28 a night, and it's 1 bedroom where I can do this video too. And it works out for me to do 3 hours a day in terms of videos, and I have nobody else to distract me. And it works out because I have 1 night accommodation, I have 1 bedroom, I have nobody else in the room, and it's a hostel, and it's in the center of CBD Brisbane, while also I realize it's also a 100-meter walk to Woolworths, and the Queen's Plaza is just over here, and it's really 30 meters away from Nomads. I realize that I have money. I also make sure that I study upon my finances and what's happening in the economy today. I really get around $1 million and $1 billion mentors. Although what I do is I make sure to relate Jesus to everything. I mean, they may be talking about get the jet. Jesus will never get the jet. I understand that Jesus will never ever own anything of this world. I mean, for Jesus, it's really go the separate way. I realize that with Jesus, it's really go free. I don't know why you need a jet. I don't know what you're trying to do with that. I realize that the guy's working to give $8 million a year to even keep it. I'll never even do it. You understand? You have to realize that when somebody gives you a jet for free and gives the money for it, you can have one. You understand? I realize you deserve it then. You just go and do some bigger work for somebody in terms of for free. I mean, you do it for Jesus, you never do it for work in terms of for other people in terms of possessions. You go and do it for free, and when somebody gives you something for free, you accept it and you grace it. I have to understand that no matter what, that the best teaching in life is really teach your mentality and how you go about life. I mean, when I have to maneuver my way around Australia, I realize that I have to be quick on my toes. I mean, I really have to be quick. I mean, if I sleep after 12 in a day, I realize I have to really shift to go into my 6 p.m. rule. Or at 2 p.m. or around 3 p.m., I I realized I just shift back into the 1 hour rule. I mean, I just stay indoors for 23 hours then. I mean, there's no point in going outside and rushing to do everything. I never rush. I mean, the 1 hour rule keeps me really focused in daily life. I mean, tomorrow I have the 6 p.m. rule. I mean, tomorrow it's really wake up before 10 a.m. and just go into the city and take some photos everywhere, and also do my branding photos. I realize I come here before 6 p.m. I shoot 3 hours of video. I realize that's my 6 p.m. rule. You understand? I realize I never go into nightclubs to do anything with those people because I have no need to go there. I see what they are. I see they're just doing drugs. I see they're just picking up women. I realize they're never really teaching anything. I realize they're never really growing. I realize that. I see that. I realize that there's no leadership skills there. I realize that I stay away from them. I just focus on me. I'd rather do a 3 hour video, which is a Saturday today. I realize I'd rather do a 3 hour video today than be in a nightclub for 7 hours. I realize I at least get ahead. I do some journaling. I have mentors. I realize that Grant Cardone is also teaching me something. I realize I have mentors who can teach me about the world today. I although never believe them. You have to understand, I never believe what they say. I only believe the knowledge that Jesus relates with what they say. I get what people say. I mean, go and study everything I said in this video and go relate it to Jesus and what would Jesus do about it. I mean, once you relate it to Jesus and you relate anything that anybody says in the crowd around you and in the world and what's happening on the news and everything in the world today, I need you to go and study upon what would Jesus do in that situation. I promise you that's the real wisdom. I promise you that's how I get my wisdom. I promise you that's also how I lead. I relate everything with Jesus. I mean, I can go and watch sports matches and I can watch everything and I can do anything. I just realized that I only go and do what Jesus does. And what does really, you have to realize, and what does Jesus really do? I realize that Jesus is doing the God's work. You have to understand that Jesus is doing something greater than us. And you have to realize that Jesus is the truth. In my daily life, I make sure no matter what that, I never really get upset about women anymore. I used to suffer about it. I used to really suffer because I had no Jesus. I was never aware of Jesus in my life. I was moving astray. I realized many people were getting more beautiful women than me. I realized in today's world, I am doing far more work than most people and I have no beautiful woman around me. I don't know why. I mean, I look at Jesus and I see a person who never had sex with beautiful women is what I really mean. I mean, I have beautiful women around me. I just never have sex with them. I mean, that's what really upset me. I mean, I was really jealous. And then instead of me looking to get jealous, I look at Jesus and I say, I understand that this guy's going around with 500 women and having sex with them. I will just go to Jesus because I understand who's the truth and who's always going to be better and who's really going to sink me into never be ashamed. I mean, into never being ashamed about having sex. I mean, I was really ashamed that I had no beautiful round. I mean, I was really ashamed that I had no sex around beautiful women that I thought were very top, which never went for me. You understand? I mean, I've had sex with women. I've had a lot of sex in terms of on 20 occasions or something like that. I mean, I realized no matter what, I've had more sex than Jesus. No matter what, I realized that it's also a stepping stone where I can also have more sex in the long run. I realized no matter what, you only need one woman to have sex. You never need to be going woman to woman anyway. I never feel ashamed about it. And those of you who may have laughed at me because of that, I promise you that you can go and look at Jesus though. You understand? You have to go and look at Jesus, that Jesus never had sex. I mean, for Jesus, in terms of 20 sexual encounters, it's a lot. You would understand that. You would understand that. And I don't know why people judge me about how I speak and how I do and how I act. You understand? I mean, you just have to understand that those people who are really getting ahead are people such as I, because I write in my journal. I write in my journal so much that you'll never ever catch me. I mean, every day I give you about 20 pages I give you 20 pages of content easily through my journal and also through my Mega Drive and anything in terms of my life. Every day just add to the calendar. I give $20 a month for my Mega Drive. I give it out for free. I mean, nobody's looking except Jesus. I don't care. I still go and live my life. I still go and appreciate my own life because I do it for Jesus. I realize that I sometimes do get negative even on Jesus. I start to be a psychopath on Jesus. I start to really go to kill Jesus. I don't know why. And you have to realize that it's more about the negative mentality that I've been taught by other people. And I've been taught by other people that you can never be around Jesus. I was listening too much to the crowd. I also then challenge it. I challenge it. I'll never kill Jesus. I love Jesus. I've been speaking Jesus in this whole video. You understand? I've been cheesy before. I'm not cheesy now. You have to understand that cheesy is another word for cocky and negative and arrogant. I mean, cheesy people killed Jesus. You understand? I mean, cocky people killed Jesus. I realize that when somebody says you have to be cocky to get women, I realize they're fucking lying. You understand? You have to realize that you never even get women. You just lift them up. You just lift the crowd up around you. You go up to anybody in life and you seek to teach them something. I promise you that you have no shame about it. You can go up to the most beautiful woman in the town and teach her something about love. I promise you that when you're going up to her though, to just fuck her and have nothing to lift her up from, I promise you then it's really get the fuck out of here. You understand? I promise you that I was one of those people who was going up to a woman to just have sex and I was never lifting her up. I was like a fucking puppy dog. I mean, I was just walking around looking for women to never lift them up. You have to add value. You understand? I make mistakes. I made mistakes. I realized a woman do this too. I realized a woman go up to a man and just fucking have sex with him and never fucking lift him up either. You understand? I mean, Jesus will come up to your fucking face and will lift you up. You understand? I mean, I only swear in this term because I like to be a badass. You understand? I love badass mentality such as Jesus. You have to understand that I love to grow. I love to be a nice person. I love to be a rude person in a growth manner. I love to swear in a growth manner. I can fucking swear when I grow. I can fucking swear when I'm positive. You have to understand that fucking in a positive way is nice. I promise you, when you're misery and when you're jealous and when you really swear to kill the person, I promise you that's jealousy. I promise you that's jealousy. I promise you that's no good. I promise you that's criminal activity. I never need you to be scared of the crowd. I never need you to be scared of what people are doing. I need you to realize that in my daily life, I have one room. I promise you that no matter what, I give accommodation money and I never care. I gave today $33 instead of $28. I went into my phone, I wrote what you never do. I said, I'll never again book online for my hostel accommodation because I can get $5 off by doing it online. I realize now I save some money that way. I realize that no matter what, I still have to calculate the money because I will be here for the next 10 days or so. I made $50. I made $50 just by that nice, beautiful decision. And you have to realize that I also let go of the gym. I calculated it that it was $28.5 per fortnight for the next 73 years because I plan to live to 100 years in life. I realized that no matter what, I'm always young. I'm living younger as I age. I realize that people see results in me. I realize that people do see that I have lost weight and that I'm still a vegan and that I've maintained my weight of 67 kilos for 18 months now. I mean, I've lost 47 kilos and I still maintained my weight and became vegan and lost all that weight. And also, I've quit smoking and cigarettes and drugs and caffeine and medication, and I overcame schizophrenia and I overcame death on multiple times. I mean, I have no jokes over here. I could have killed myself with a knife. I could have stabbed myself in the throat. I could have really, just recently, I could have really killed myself because I was trying to cut my eye out. I for I love you, ideas. I love you, I, Jesus. You have to understand that no matter what, you never cut your eye out, because otherwise you'll start shaking. You'll start suffocating. You need to speak your I intent. I love this. I love that. I was cutting the eye out of my life. I realized that in the Bible that Jesus was saying, you never cut your eye out. You understand? You never look at another person more than yourself. I realized I was looking at other people more than myself in that situation. I was just cutting my eye. I was really never speaking my I intent. I realized it got to the point of, what is after I? I realized, I said, God. I said, God is after I. I said, live or die. I said, live. I chose to live. I mean, I was that close to dying. I mean, what is after the I? I mean, it's God. I mean, God is after the I. I mean, when there's no I in life, I mean, God's right here. I mean, I asked myself a question, live or die? I said, live. I choose to live. I choose to live without, I never choose to live without my I. I mean, I chose to live life. I realized no matter what that I was that close. I was 50-50. You have to understand that it can happen. I realized that's one occasion. I realized another occasion was on the freeway. I could have flipped the car on 3 occasions. I also could have drowned myself in the bathtub. I could have jumped off the bridge in many times. And in many occasions, I never did. You have to understand that the reason is because of my leadership skills. You understand? You have to understand that you need to increase your knowledge now so that you can fight off suicide. I mean, it's that important. I mean, it's that crucial. I was a schizophrenic. I was a schizophrenic who really had a mental health disorder, and a schizophrenic person sees hallucinations. I mean, you may see Michael Myers out there somewhere, and you may be running away from that person because you believe they're chasing you. You may have heard about Freddy Krueger and Jason. I mean, I used to hallucinate that the Jason was behind the door. I mean, that he was about to knock on the door and kill me. I mean, I was paranoid. You understand? I was delusional in a way that I was speaking with God. I was speaking to God, and I was looking at what God needs. I was too much in the head, I was too much in the mind, and the ego was taking over. I realized that when the ego takes over, it's really because you took drugs too much, and it's called drug-induced psychosis, which really means that your ego has overtaken you, and that you are no longer the person you are, because your ego is now possessed you. I mean, when the ego possesses you, I mean, you become Hitler. You become the person who goes and kills 20 million people. You understand? I mean, Hitler killed many people. You have to understand, no matter what, that the ego makes you psychosis and drug-induced psychosis and all this nature that has nothing to do with Jesus. I mean, I was in a rehab on 2 separate occasions for 4 months in total. You have to understand that for 2 months each, I was in a rehab. I'm just a person now who's really studying and emphasizing that you guys really go and dig in to knowledge and books. And it's full of wisdom. I've been doing it for 5 years. I realized that after the 5th year, I started to contribute. I realized that Russell Brunson said that eventually you're going to come to a conclusion of where you have to start contributing, because reading's never really doing it for you anymore. I started to get my journal. I got my journal out. I started videos. I started 1-minute vlog snaps. I started to really produce 1-minute videos. Whereas now I can do 1-hour videos really quickly within 1 year. I mean, within 1 year, I went from 1-minute videos to 4-hour ones. I mean, I can really be on the camera now. I can really model myself. Within 1 year, I'm able to post 2,570 photos online of myself in nice fashion design clothing, and I'm able to go into a shop and get myself real clothing. I mean, real clothing. I mean, I sleep in this jumper now. You have to understand, I've got myself another jumper. I realized no matter what, I realized that once I take 5,000 photos with this one, I sleep in it. I use it for the go, and when it becomes stinky, I'll go and throw it away. I mean, I never even wash my clothes anymore. You have to understand that when I go and shower, I shower in skins. You understand skins? Have you ever seen Olympic people when they jump in the Olympics in the water? I mean, they go into the water. They go in the water and they have skins. I go and wear them all day. I wear the short ones. I wear the thigh ones. I go and shower with them every single day, and I just rub the towel over it, and it becomes dry really quick. I realize that no matter what, my underwear is always clean because I take a shower every day, and my underwear is my skins. You have to understand that it's the most beautiful idea to never get Bond's underwear and all these underwear when you have to go and wash them. I mean, you can go and wash your skins and you can jump in a shower with your skins and wash your skins in the shower, and they never stink. You understand? You have to understand, no matter what, that you have skins where you can jump in a shower and shower all day long. And you can even go into the pool with your skins and then go into the shower and your skins have no chloride, you know. And I promise you, and when you go and dry off your skins, I promise you that you just put on your jeans, you leave your skins on. You leave your skins on and it becomes dry. I realize now I wear skins as my underwear all year round. I swim my skins. I go everywhere with one pair of skins. I mean, just one skins. You have to understand that is the foundation of life skills and a life coach. I mean, I never have to invest in underwear anymore because I have skins for the whole year. I mean, they're always clean. I mean, the skins, they're elastic. You can get yourself something of quality in terms of clothing only when you can make the money, though. You have to understand that the money is made never through work of anybody else, in terms of you're never working for money. You're really working for better health. You have to realize that money is really confused by many people. I need you to realize there is the outside world's money in terms of the world's money, and money that's in wisdom. I need you to make money in wisdom more than you make money in the world. I need you to realize that the world's money is more the go to the 9 to 5 and make $200 a day in plastic money that is in possessions. I mean, $200 can get you a meal around town over here. I mean, there is that kind of money, which is the possessions. I mean, money in terms of the world and what you work for in the world is possessions. I mean, 99% of the world is going to 9 to 5 job to work for possessions in money. I realize the real money that I make while I sleep is in my habits. I realize it's got everything to do with health. I realize that it's got everything to do with energy. I realize it's got everything to do with time management and also who you surround yourself with. You have to understand that the real money, for example, I would say, I let go of the gym. I saved $54,000. I mean, I never have to work at a 9 to 5 job anymore to make I never have to work at a 9 to 5 job to make $54,000 in possessions of money. You have to understand that I've already made it throughout my lifetime. I mean, over the next 73 years, I've saved $54,000. How? I'll teach you how. I realize that no matter what, I just stay away from the gym. In terms of Anytime Fitness, I calculate it through $28.50 every fortnight, which is $28.50 times 26 fortnights in a year. I times it by 73 years because my goal is to reach 100 years. I just go by that number. I realize the number comes out as 54,000. I get my phone out. I have a nice beautiful financial calendar over here, and I write it over here. As you can see, I write these numbers, and you can see that those numbers just represent time money and just everything about my finances. I mean, this year I've really made, I'll show you that this year I've made, I'll show you this number over here. 117, I see 1,117,000,000. 1.1 billion in money value I've made so far in the half of 2018 and 19 and 20. I made that much money. You understand? I need to understand that you may be saying, that's crazy. I mean, I really did make that money. I mean, I'll show you how I make money. I said NRL game, I saved $40. I was supposed to go to an NRL game today. I go and write it down. I said NRL game is $40. I put it into a piggy bank inside of my full savings for all time's sake. I say NRL game 5 hours. I mean, I save 5 hours of time by never going. I write that down. I say Nomads one night is $33.72. I mean, that's all the money that I gave today in terms of accommodation, and just for today I still have to go and get food and give another up to $15. So no matter what, in my daily life, I'm teaching finance now in terms of leadership. In my daily life, I realize I only ever eat up to $15 a day. I mean, I range it from 0 to 15. I promise you that in order for you to find your ranges in terms of what you're eating in daily life, I need you to go from a range perspective, because your number's always going to change daily. I need you to realize that what's the most highest number that you may give for food in a day. You range it from that number to that number. You then say, for example, if my number is 15, I mean, on any given day, I eat about $15 worth of food. And I also divide that by 2. I realize I eat about $7.5 a day in food intake, because I shop for 2 days in a row. I shop for one day. I usually shop a bit extra just to have extra in the morning, and then I go again. I realize it works out to be $7.50 a day that I eat. I realize that anyway, I arrange my price and I say that over the next 73 years, I'll be eating $15 a day. I just range it that way. I get a money value over here. I say 15 times 365 times 73. I realize no matter what, that's $400,000. I mean, over my lifetime and over the next 73 years, I have to have at least $400,000 in my life so that I can feed myself. I then put that in my calendar. I put that in my calendar in terms of my financial calendar, and I say over here, for that, I said FXP, which is 373,000. I mean, over the course of my life, I just wrote it down. Understand? I just have the number there. That I have to be over a certain amount of possessions in money in order to have this amount. I realize no matter what, that it's not really about the possessions in money. I realize that it's really about how much have I made over the long term. You understand? I realize it's more about how much really in possessions of money do I need to really get all this food, although I never work for possessions of money. I need you to realize that I wrote today also 3 hours of live coaching just yesterday. I realized that it's on Friday. I realized I saved 3 hours of live coaching videos because I never done it. I realized I did something else. I just go and track it anyway. I wrote watching people. I said watching people of this world. I put 6.1 years for that. I mean, I was watching self-education and all my mentors for 2 hours a day. I realized I just eliminated them to see how long is that in time. I can afford to watch them for 6 years of my life. I realized that no matter what, I said Byron Bay, 15 days. I mean, I wrote TXP days. I mean, TXP means, I realized that TXP means time experience points. I realized no matter what, that it's really 15 days until I go Byron Bay. I mean, I say 15 days. I realized that 15 days means I will be in Brisbane. You understand? I realized that I made a decision there with money and time. I realized that I have over here, for example, a transaction fee in the bank. I have 14 cents. I wrote 14 cents. I have sex and woman. I have $550. I save $550 by never having sex with women by giving them money. I realized that no matter what, it's just funny. I realized that I have $20 I saved that I never went for a massage. You have to understand that I make financial decisions this way. I just write everything down. I mean, that no matter what, say I never went to the shop today, I'll write 1 hour in my phone. I'll write 30 minutes. I'll write about 1 hour in time because it'll take me that long. I mean, it only takes me about 10 minutes to get there and back. I mean, by the time I get here and I get ready to do what I need to do, I already feel that's around 1 hour. You have to understand that I save time that way. I'll write it down. You have to understand that's a leadership skill. You have to understand that in life, I save time and energy and money that is never seen. I mean, you never see it. You have to understand that you have to be tracking all your finances that you're even giving for food and accommodation. And you have to realize that in order for me to live in Brisbane, CBD, in Nomads, for 28 a night, I mean, it's not really for the money. I realize it's for, it's for the videos that I do. I realize it's for my growth experience. So I never have to be around people. I learned in Perth that no matter what, that those people who are around, other people in hostels, I realize they just annoy you. I realize they're too loud. I realize over here, I have a person next door. I realize that they can snore. I realize that they can make some noises. I realize that it's not something that bothers me. I realize that after 10 p.m. at night, I never do a live coaching video because they may be sleeping. I have some respect. I respect the crowd around me. I just realized that no matter what, that in your daily life, I promise you that if you're around people who are doing drugs and who are never doing their finances and are never writing their time, also because you have to realize that energy is time. You can never be going to Sydney ever again when you never expect to go. I mean, when you leave Sydney and you go to Brisbane, I never expect you to come back. I need you to write, I'm never going to Sydney ever again. I need you just to cross it off. I never need you to hope and pray that you're going to Sydney because you're in Brisbane now. You burn the bridge. You understand? I mean, I understand that your father may be in Brisbane. I mean, I understand that your father may be in Sydney. And because you went to Brisbane, I never need you to expect that you'll see your father and parents ever again because you're alone now. I mean, your father may die. I mean, your mother may die. You're in Brisbane now. Since you are in Brisbane, I need you to forget them. I need you to realize that you'll never see your family again. I need you to see that you never expect it. I need you to understand that they may die right now. I never need you to be heartbroken. I need you to expect that they're going to die when you leave them. You understand? I need you to expect that once you leave Brisbane, I need you to write straight away that I'll never be returning to Brisbane. I mean, you burn the bridge. You go and look somewhere else now. I mean, those people who go from Sydney to Brisbane and then from Brisbane to Cairns and never burn the bridges of Sydney and Brisbane, I promise you they're going to return to Brisbane and Sydney. I don't know why. I mean, you're already there. I don't know why you're returning. You never return. I mean, you burn the bridges and then when you have to go to Sydney, you'll make another decision. You'll say, I have to go to Sydney now because I have to go and do stuff now. I mean, it makes sense for me to go now. You understand? I promise you that's a leadership skill. I promise you that leadership skills have everything to do with finance too. I mean, that those people who have 20-minute showers, I mean, I have 1-minute shower. I mean, for every shower that you have, I can have 20 of them in 20 days. You understand? I've got something more important to do than singing in the shower. I can sing in the shower for 1 minute. I just go and do something that's more important. I mean, make love in the shower with your wife or husband. I understand that. I understand that's different. I understand. I, although as an individual, have 1 minute showers. I used to have 5 minute showers. I probably understand that you understand what I'll do. I promise that I go into my phone, I get out my calculator, I write 4 minutes. I write 4 minutes times 365. I shower every single day once. I have 1,340 minutes a year. I have it times 73. I now have 97,820 minutes. I divide that by 60 minutes. I have 1,630 hours. I divide it by 24 hours. I have 67 days. I mean, I saved 67 days, guys. I saved 67 days by just having 1 minute showers over 5 minute ones. I mean, 67 days of my life. I mean, you have to understand that is the kind of financial mentality I have. And you have to understand that 67 days is money and time. You have to understand that I make money and time while I sleep. You have to understand that as soon as I say no more mentors, I just made 6 years of my life. I have the calculation. You remember? I mean, as soon as I say I never watch other people again, in terms of on screen, I saved 6 years of my life. I can always boost my life force like that one. You understand? I can always boost my life and vitality to say that no longer you guys are important. I'm going to look at my family for 6.1 years more. I can go live my life and travel somewhere for 6.1 years without having to look at screens and people. You understand? I mean, that's an easy way for you to live a longer life and to lead people more. You have to understand it's a leadership skill to increase your time in the planet and also to increase your money that you never worked for. I mean, you only work for something other than possessions. You have to understand that when a person who has money and time and freedom is only a person who is really studying finance and studying how to make more time in their life. I have a financial calendar where I may put $6. I mean, I really mean 6 years. I'll then put TXP years as the heading. I'll put $6 there. You understand? I'll put $6 for 6 years. I mean, when it's a number such as 623 in years, I'll just go 623. I realize that then I may put $6.50 for 3. I may put $6.50 for years. I mean, that number's going to go into 1273. You understand? I realize then I'll put another 50 cents or half a year in there. I realize that when I put half a year, I'll put 6 months. I'll put TXP months. I'll go put 6 months in total. I realize then I just get a broader view. I realize that when I put another 1 year and 73, I realize that previous time where I was putting those other numbers that had to do with the 1.16 and 1.73 will eventually add up and overrun it and will make a year there. You understand? So that's how I do everything in terms of leadership so far. I realize that no matter what, there's so much more I can teach you about leadership. I realize that it's just a 1 hour video. I realize that no matter what, that you guys really have a nice, beautiful day. I realize that I'll just leave you this, that when you're finished this video, you go and look at the world in this kind of way. That you go and look at the world in an uplifting fashion. I mean, you go and approach the woman that you love and you only uplift her and you never ask for her sex or for her to do anything for you. I mean, you just go there and lift her. I mean, when you ladies look at a guy that you're shy about, you go and lift a guy and I promise you'll never be shy. I promise you the same goes for men and women alike. I promise you that you can go anywhere and lift people and you can talk with them when you're lifting only. I promise you that when you're expecting something from them, I promise you'll turn around. I promise you that when you're expecting something from them, I promise you that you'll turn away and you'll be shy and you'll have anxiety and you'll be anxious and you'll have guilt and shame because you really like the person. you're just scared to talk to them. You're scared to talk to them because you never lift them. I mean, you expect something from them. You expect for them to talk to you. I mean, you go and talk to them, you just lift them. I realized that I was a person who was saying, oh, I need the woman to come to me. I need people to come to me. I need to go now to people. I need to lift them. I mean, I never wait for it. I mean, when I need to get married, I go to the woman. I lift her up. I realize that when she never gets the picture that I'm for her, I realize that no matter what, I'm only for Jesus. I realize no matter what, that you also never get confused about that. You never be for anybody of this world. You be for Jesus only. I realize that when I lift her and she never gets the message that this guy is attractive and lifting her up, and she goes for another man, I realize that she missed the point. You have to understand that the whole point is make them ask you out. You just lift them all the time. You're lifting them always. You're lifting them. I mean, you're never expecting sex. You're never expecting anything other than to lift them with everything in life. I promise you that when you're dying with a woman, you're never coaching them. I promise you when you're dying with a man, you're never coaching them anything. I mean, there are many people out here in terms of, I'm never out there. I never need you to be out there. I need you to be inside. I promise you that there are many people in the world who are going around places and just causing a muck and having fun and having no coaching lessons and having no collaborations in terms of growth. You can go online now and you can teach people everything. You can go and create the attention you need on the street by just willing yourself to teach everybody. I promise you, when you're lifting and teaching people to lift more and more, you'll be raised. I mean, your attention will go up. I promise you, when you're waiting for other people to come and give you up, I promise you, when you're waiting for other people to come and give you an opportunity, you'll realize something. You realize that they'll never come. I mean, some may come. You just never wait for it. You go and give them an opportunity. You start growing them. You see how their day is. You have to understand, when you see how people's days are, you're lifting them. You mean you care. You care more and more. You just care more about yourself though. I realize that when you're caring about others, you're really lifting yourself and others. I realize that that is the definition of interdependence. I promise you that independent people only lift themselves. I promise you that interdependent people lift themselves and others. I promise you that dependent people, which is most of the world, I promise you they never lift anybody. You have to understand that only those people who are lifting people can be interdependent. You go and realize you'll never be shy. I promise you that shyness and guilt and secrecy has everything to do with illegal matters and also anything negative that's never lifting. I need you to go and learn how to lead. I promise you that you can go and grab the Bible and you can grab people who are successful today in knowledge anywhere. I mean, you go and study any knowledge anywhere. I promise you'll be lifted and you'll learn something. I promise you connect this dot. I promise you'll learn something about this. I promise you eventually, the more you learn, I promise you eventually you'll find Jesus. Understand? I'll leave you guys with that, guys. I realize no matter what, just go out there and lift people. You have to understand, you just go and lift people. You never wait for them to come to you. You never wait for them to have sex with you. You just go and lift them and you never expect anything. I promise you that's it. I promise you guys, I need you guys to share this video for Jesus. I promise you, no matter what, you never do it for me. You do it for Jesus, because Jesus is the Most High. And I promise you guys that no matter what, when you need an answer in life to walk free and for any problem and any solution in life, you go to Jesus to solve all your problems. You have to understand that Jesus has no problems. I mean, Jesus is always focused on something more than problems. I promise you that Jesus has a solution for every problem today. You just go to Jesus and people can run the world today with Jesus mentality still. I promise you guys, please share this video for Jesus and also make sure that you have a great day, and I'll see you guys very soon.